Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. In today's video, we're going to be continuing our No BS startup tutorial, looking at the absolutely amazing fly-by-wire Airbus A380. Like with the other tutorials in this series, this is for our beginner simmers who are looking to go from cold and dark to ready for takeoff in the most basic way possible. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, entering the cockpit, like with every other video we've done in this series, everything is turned off. So we have no power to anything. First thing we're going to want to do is we're going to come up here to our batteries, turn on 4 batteries, and then we're going to turn on 4 external powers. We're going to start with 2, then 3, 1, then 4. The next step, the ADRs, put those over to nav, and they will begin the alignment process. APU master switch, 1, 2, 3 seconds. APU start. We can see down here that the APU will begin coming to life here momentarily. And while we're up here, go ahead and arm your emergency lights, set your seatbelts and no smoking, or in this case no mobile, to auto or have them on. Navigation lights, you're going to turn those on. Strobe lights, I always have those in auto. And if you were in a cold climate or dealing with cold weather, you can turn on your engine ice as needed. Now that the APU is almost done, we are going to open up the APU bleed, like so. Now that you've done that, we will begin preparing the rest of the aircraft for our flight. So coming over here to the left-hand side, we have our fly-by-wire electronic flight bag. If you're using SimBrief, you may go ahead and import your SimBrief data. If not, I will go through the step-by-step procedure to getting your aircraft set up manually using the default electronic flight bag. So this route is previously done that I did before, so we are going to cancel that out here. Let's go ahead and just reset everything here. So we are at Munich Airport today, and we will head to, we're going to do Dubai International. We're going to have a flight level cruising altitude of 36,000 feet. So go ahead and click Find Route. Now that you have all of that, unfortunately you cannot send to the avionics like you can with the default aircraft in this A380, which is a little unfortunate, so we have to do a little bit more guesswork. So the next thing you want to do is you want to come over here to your ground. Now that you have your APU on and running, you can go ahead and disconnect the GPU. Go ahead and summon your jet bridge, the fuel truck if you need it. You can open up the baggage for the cargo, get the catering truck out, and we can go ahead and begin setting up our ground services here. So we can see we have 66% fuel on board. We're going to increase that just a little bit. We're going to click the load button right here, and depending on how you want your refueling time, you can have it instant, fast, or realistic. So we can see here, we have loaded our fuel. Coming over here to our payload. So if you have used SimBrief to import all the data, this will all be here. Like I said, we are going to manually do everything here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to load up 300 passengers. It's going to give us 6,000 kilograms of cargo as well. And then you're going to click this arrow here and you're going to click begin boarding. And again, depending on how you have your sim set up, instant, fast, or realistic. For this instance, we are using instant. So now that your aircraft is loaded and fueled, what you're going to do is, I want you to remember your zero fuel weight right here. 331,207 kilograms, because you will need to use that later. Coming on over down here to our FMS. We're going to go from left to right, and then we're going to move on down to the second part. So we want to make sure that our performance, we will get to that here in just a second. So the thing we want to do actually is click on initialization. Again, if you have SimBrief, this will all be imported into here. You would do a company flight plan request, and then what will happen is all of the data that's on this tablet here will be pulled over to your FMS, and then you'll just have to go through and confirm a few things. So to start things off, we are going to be punching things in manually. Come on. You go ahead and punch in your origin and destination, and a flight number if you so desire, what your cruising altitude is going to be, and what your estimated cost index is. On a flight like this, it's usually around 30. Now you've gone ahead and done that. What you want to do is come down to departure. Pull up your electronic flight bag here, and we are going to take a look at our departure sequence. So we are going to be taking off from runway 26 left, and our SID is going to be KIRD3S. So you'll have to kind of scroll through and find it. Just like that. We have no transition, so you're going to go ahead and click this button down here. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull up everything here. You can see we have right over here end of flight plan, because it did not put in our destination airport. Sometimes it will do so. Not entirely sure why it does that. It's a little weird. But before we do that, we're actually going to erase, so that way we can come back. So there it goes. You'll just have to put all of this back in, like so. Now that it actually is showing our route, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click flight plan just to make sure it did show up, which it did. So back to our initialization, come back down here to departure, and we're going to redo it again. So 26 left, using the Kurds SID, click that, and then we're going to click insert. And while we're on this page, we are going to click our origin airport, which is Dubai International, and you're going to click arrival. So we can see here our approach procedure is ILS runway 12 left via Rarick. So we're going to go ahead and punch that in like so. And then you're going to click the button down there, and then you're going to click insert. So what that does is it put in everything from Rarick to your ILS procedure. Now sometimes what you can do, and I'm actually going to attempt to do it here, is we see our runway is that we have a star and a transition. So sometimes your star is available here, which it is, so this kind of saves you some time. We have no transition, so we're going to put that in again. So what happened is it put in this entire waypoint string right there. Now you're going to click insert. Next comes the most tedious part. So if you have SimBrief, all of your waypoints will be there. All you have to do is just confirm that everything looks correct and that there is no discontinuity. If you're doing this without SimBrief, this is going to be the most annoying part, and I will show you what to do. So you have to manually insert all of your strings right here of waypoints. Click the one previously, so we see we have Curdy here, which is this waypoint here. Click next waypoint. You're going to click on this, and it's going to open up a drop box of specific waypoints. Now these are all the ones that are already in your flight plans, in your aircraft's flight plans, which would be these guys down here. But what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to come up here. We're going to type in the next waypoint, and then you're going to click enter, and we can see it loaded it in. Then you're going to click that waypoint you just inserted, click next waypoint, OKORA, click enter, and you're going to repeat the process until you have punched in your entire waypoint string. If you get a duplicate waypoint, because there are duplicate waypoints out there, and you're unsure when it shows up on the screen here, if you're unsure which one it is, the thing you want to do is that waypoint, click this button here, and what I like to do is, because the positions can be slightly off, I will go over to frequencies and I will match the frequency of this waypoint to whatever is being displayed on the screen, and I will click that, so then it puts in the correct waypoint. So, assuming you have gone ahead and put in all of your waypoints, the last one you want to do, so let's say for example Okura is the last waypoint in our flight plan, and we need to connect it to the beginning of our approach sequence, which is right here. Click next waypoint. You're going to bring down that drop box, and then you're going to find the next waypoint in the flight plan, which would be this one right here. So we can see while everything is yellow, we have no more discontinuity. And then you click insert. Now the route string is completed. I did cut it short just for demonstration purposes, but that's okay. Go ahead and close out your EFB. Now that you have done all of your flight planning, we are going to go back to our initialization page here. And what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to fuel and payload. Remember those numbers I told you to remember earlier? This is where you're going to have to punch them in. So we see we have a zero fuel weight of 331,207 kilograms. You'll have to translate that into tons, which comes out to, I believe the correct number was about 365 tons. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to punch that in, 365, and then click enter. And then our zero fuel weight CG, which is this percentage here, we're going to type it in, 35.7. 35.7, and click enter. This is your block fuel. So on SimBrief, this will be available information. Go ahead and put your passengers in right quick. So as I said, this will be available information. Unfortunately, it does not show right here. It also does not show anywhere here either. So this you don't really need to worry about as of right now. If you want a little more accuracy in your navigation, then you will have to figure out the correct block fuel weight. Once you have done that, it is time to set our altimeters. So let's take a quick look at our weather. So the weather for the departure, you want to come over here to the information tab and click on weather. So here is our weather information here. As we can see, we have some variable winds. Got 300, says at 300 degrees, 5 knots. And then we can see we have some clouds. The QNH is right here. The HPA is 1023. If you are not familiar with that, your air pressure here in inches is right here, 3021. So if you have it as if you have it in HPA, this is what it's going to be. If you have it in HG, it's going to be this one here. Go ahead and adjust your altimeter as required. So 3021, you don't have to do it twice. A fly-by-wire aircraft does it for you on the first officer side. Okay, now that you have punched that in, next step, it's coming on down to our performance. Now with this, you will want to have your flaps. I always put them on 2 just to kind of help. And with this weight, yeah, you don't really have specific V speeds that are recommended for you. In SimBrief, you will get V speeds, but if you are not using SimBrief, you will have to kind of guess and check. I'm sure there are aids available where you can punch some stuff in for free and kind of calculate what your V speeds are going to be. But if you're unsure, you can go ahead and punch in a 10. I use a 10 knot rule. So at this weight, I am going to be doing 160. For the V1, we'll do 170. The rotation, and then your V2 is going to be within 5 knots, so 175. Click enter. You can choose if you want to have toga or flex for your setup. Packs always on, anti-ice on or off if needed. And now that you have done that, you are almost set to go. Oh, look at that, looks like we got some rain. So coming back over to our tablet here, we're going to go to our services. We're going to make sure that we disconnect our jet bridge. While we wait for it to close up, you can kind of see it right here. It is beginning the disconnection process. So go ahead, if you are using ATC, go ahead and dial in your frequencies for your clearance delivery, get your clearance for IFR. Once you have gotten your initial climb out, go ahead and put that into your autopilot panel like so. Once you got your full clearance and you are good to go, go ahead and come up to the fuel panel here, and we are going to be clicking a lot of buttons. All of these guys got to come on here. These are all of your fuel pumps. A whole bunch of them. Just like that. And with that, you are now ready for pushback. So go ahead and disengage your parking brake. Usually what I do is I will make sure that it is clear. Sometimes a catering truck does not go away. Go ahead and get your pushback initiation started. Now while that is happening, we're going to come back up to our overhead panel. What we are going to do is we are going to turn on our beacons. And I'm going to turn on the nose light to taxi. The strobes are already in auto. Wing lights, you don't need that if it's daytime. The logo light, we're going to put that into auto mode for if we do come across a little bit of darkness. And as you can see, we are now beginning our pushback sequence. So to begin, engine start. Engine start switch is up here in the overhead panel. You're going to click that to the right. It says set engine mode selected to ignition start. Now we're just going to patiently wait for our pushback to be completed. And while I do that, let's kind of go through and let's just double check everything. So we have V speeds in. All of our lights are set as needed. ADIRs are aligned and set. Flight plan. Go through. Let's double check your flight plan. Make sure everything looks correct. Like that. And it looks like our pushback is complete. So now it is time for engine start. So we can see here in the middle, our ignition is on. So let's go ahead and begin ignition. Engine 1. Go ahead and flick that switch up. And just kind of monitor. We can see we have life in 3 and 2. Starting to see N1 come to life. EGTs are starting to wake up. With multi-engine aircraft like this, usually what I do is at 10% and 1, I will start the next engine. So there's 10%. So engine 2 comes on. And we just check again. All right, we have fuel flow. N2, N3 is moving. EGTs are starting to wake up. At this time, engine 1 is now available, which is what we want. %, and 1. Let's confirm we have fuel flow, which we do. 10%. Go ahead and start number 3. We go ahead and clear that caution. Fuel flow into N3. EGT and 1's coming to life. It always takes a while with these multi-engine aircraft to get started. and one is at 10%. So let's get number 4 going. And that's the final engine. So while we wait for that to go on, let's just go ahead and come over here. Let's make sure our cockpit door is locked. Our flaps, so we're going to set to our takeoff configuration, which was flaps 2. Go ahead and put our speed brakes into the armed position. Now I was going to say 10%, it's not. Same like with the throttles, it's not at 4%. That's just fly-by-wire things. Alright, engine 4 is avail, so now that everything is stabilized, your flaps are in your takeoff configuration. You can come up here to the top and we can turn off the APU bleed and turn off the APU itself, and we will return ignition, the engine start to normal. At this point, if you're using GS6, you'll see the safety pin. The guy will come out with the safety pin indicating that you are good to go. If not, you're pretty much ready to go. Just make sure you have your light on, taxi light on. Go ahead and contact ground. Get your taxi clearance to the runway. Once you do that, go ahead and disengage that parking brake, and you may begin taxiing to the runway. So that'll do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it was informational. It was a little bit longer just because there's just a hair more setup with this being a bigger aircraft. Don't forget to leave a like. Also, comment down below what you want to see next, which aircraft you wish to see. And also make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell for when the next video goes live. So that'll do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.